This one finna rile up a lot of people, y'all. He's back. I told Winston this would happen in less than a year. Travis Scott is set to headline his first performance since the Astroworld tragedy that happened last year. He is set. This is going to be, whoo, I know people are going to have comments in the neighborhood, in the chat. People are going to say things online, but this is what's happening. He was announced as the headliner for the Primavera Sound Festival, which is a massive multi-destination event that begins in Barcelona, then travels to Porto, Portugal, Los Angeles, Sao Paulo, Santiago, and Buenos Aires. And according to the lineup posters, he's only going to headline in 3 South American cities. Now we have those posters. These are here. Switch to assets. Thank you. All right. I wish my computer would catch up to with me making moves. So, thank you for. He's going to headline Sao Paulo, Santiago, and Buenos Aires. That is crazy. Now, this is set to kick off June 2nd, and it will globetrot through November 13th. It is produced. A series of the shows are being produced by Live Nation, which, of course, produces Astroworld. Now, he was set originally to be one of the headliners for Coachella, but he was replaced by that. He was pulled out from his spot, and he was also set to headline Day in Vegas in last November, but he was replaced by Post Malone about a week before the festival. I told Winston on this show, you can go to the tape. I said, bro, he is going to be performing again in a year. Winston A. Marshall kept saying, no, he won't. Won't nobody take a chance. Won't nobody insure him. I said, Winston, that nigga brings in money. And look at where we are. Because here's another thing people got to understand. I need people to have a global mindset on this one. Dwayne, I'm pretty sure you have this mindset and understand this. International revenue is 100 times bigger than domestic revenue, and no matter what we are talking about.
Yeah. So you're talking about a festival and what was that? Three other countries, or no, 4 other countries, because Santiago's in Chile. Mm-hmm. But like you're talking about a festival in 4 other countries that don't give a fuck about Astroworld. They don't care. They don't give a shit.
Because it's it happened in America. It's not happening.
They might not have even heard about it.
That is another thing.
They might not even know. They don't care. There's a reason he's not touring in the United States.
There's a reason. Again, people keep. I say this all the time on the show. We all want to have this giant morality code of what is right, what is wrong, what should be punishable, what shouldn't be, how a person should be treated, how a person shouldn't be treated, et cetera, all these things. But the world at large doesn't hold to that. And again, we're talking other countries, and like Dwayne just said, many of them may not even fucking know. And even if they do, they don't care because why? It wasn't there. We're talking about Sao Paulo, Brazil. Okay? I say that. Do you understand the warning they have to put to international travelers when you go to Sao Paulo, Brazil? When you go to Argentina, when you go to Chile, when you go to these different places, people got to understand that.
People also need to understand that there's so much money in other countries that are not the United States.
That's what I'm saying. International revenue, bro.
Like, if someone was like, hey, and this is going to get a little off topic, but just understand, people are like, why is the WWE doing shows in UAE or in Saudi Arabia?
Mm-hmm.
Because they make more money from the 2 shows or 3 shows that they put on
a year.
They make more money from that than every other show they put on in a year combined.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they do it. And that's with all of the criticism and the people boycotting and saying they're unsubscribing from Peacock and not going to house shows no more, not buying merch, all of that. Those shows still make them more money. They make enough money off of those shows that they can take the loss. So like people have to understand America doesn't matter as much anymore. We don't matter.
I'm gonna tell you how much it didn't matter for the longest. Everybody talks shit about Disney's movies when it does its movies for China and all this other shit, right? And you're like, wait, you get what happens when they go to China, right? You get how much money they make in China. Oh, but they need to blah 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 blah. Again, this is a business. But again, for Dwayne, after everything he was just saying,
yes, sir. This nigga spitting. Damn, nigga.
I had to give you that.
And California Joe, yes, that is why the Instagram thoughts always be in Saudi Arabia, because them motherfuckers pay to fly them there.
They fly these chicks there.
Yes.
They fly. Literally, all the woman has to do from Instagram is have a passport. That is it.
Yes, all they do is they fly a bunch of girls out to Saudi Arabia, that they post it on their Instagram and be like, look at all the bitches I got.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what they do. And they have the money to waste to do it.
Kirsty just said the realest thing too. Americans and American culture is legit fetishized around the world. And she can say that. Why? She's from Australia.
More particularly, Black Americans and Black American culture is fetishized around the world.
Yes, sir. This nigga spitting. Damn, nigga.
Hello.
I mean, you ain't lied. But again, everybody, like I said, people are going to be upset. Twitter is going ablaze about it and all this, and people want to tag Live Nation and all this, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not going to matter. When people sit there and say, this is the one thing that frustrates me when I see this on social media. When people tweet Live Nation and say, oh, I'll never go see another Live Nation show again. You a lie. You'll go see a show and won't even realize Live Nation's a part of it. Live Nation,
they don't care.
And that was my second. That was about to be my second biggest point. They don't give when people be doing this. I'm gonna do this, do that. They don't give a fuck.
That's like when somebody says, "Hey, I didn't like what you said about the Batman. I'm unfollowing." Cool. You didn't have to announce your exit. I don't care.
Oh,
I don't care.
Oh, I'm gonna block you.
And I'm a much smaller company. I don't care.
I don't give a shit. But people want to act as if that them making this grandiose statement in their opinion is a big thing. And it's not. It's not by any stretch of the imagination.
And also, and I understand the outrage, being upset about what happened at Astroworld, but like Winston saying no one will insure Travis Scott. Travis Scott's not the one that has to get insured for his performances. So it really has nothing to do with him. It has to do with Live Nation, who has been putting on concerts for like 4 decades. And they have more than enough history to say, hey, this was a one-off. This was just one bad show. Like, you don't have to worry about this at all our shows.
Ebony 71 says you can't not use Live Nation because they're attached to Ticketmaster.
That too. But also, like, you have to understand, I bet that they put a bunch of stuff in place. They put a bunch of clauses and whatnot in contracts now with artists to prevent stuff like that from happening again, that they're just not going to address publicly. They're just not going to. Because
there are things that will impact his pay.
Yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of stuff, changes that were made to contracts after that incident that they're just not going to talk about publicly.
That's another thing. People got to understand that too. Like, people are always going, oh, well, nothing happened here, there. And it's like, you can't do nothing about the sad fact of what happened with that event. All you can do is look at what goes forward, right? How do you handle things and proceed forward? And so, like you said, you can't allow the conversation to get this type of rowdy, or the event to get this rowdy. You can't have the congregation do this. You can't engage a ruckus and things like that. And so people don't understand those things. But it all goes back to the number one thing with him performing in other countries. International revenue is bigger than domestic revenue, no matter what company you are. And I see a lot of people, because again, people been talking about the Elon Musk and Twitter, like the one dude with the horrible math that said Elon Musk had 40 billion and could give all of 330 Americans $1 million a piece. And it's like, Jimmy Nails. So here's a problem with that statement. It says perhaps you cannot make those changes public because those are legal things. You cannot make legal.
So there's a couple reasons why, but the biggest reason why is they can't make those changes public, because then in the lawsuit that they're currently facing, that could be seen as admitting fault.
Yep.
So there's no way that they're going to do it publicly. Maybe once the lawsuit is closed and finished and done, they'll disclose the changes that they've made. But right now, with what else is going on legally, there's no way that they're going to make those announcements public, because all it would do is open them up for even more litigation. And that's a lot. And then look, and I understand people saying, oh, they should get sued, but then they get sued to high heaven. They go out of business, and now we've got no concerts. I know it's a drastic situation, but when you're talking, think about the long-term ramifications of what you're talking about. Because artists cannot put concerts on by themselves. They can't.
No artist
they can't.
does. So it's like it's not saying that they're denying it or admitting it. It's just again, before even that, it's the legal. There's a lot with not very rarely with any contract is all the legal details put out. Are all
almost never.
Never.
Like most of the times when you hear about, hey, so-and-so got paid this much for the movie, right? In actuality, they got paid $300K cash. They're going to get paid this much on the back end. They're going to get paid this much in, company stock or whatever. That's not split up. They can't divulge that information.
How they're paid
legally.
And everything. Yeah, like a lot of people didn't. People just heard how much Robert Downey Jr. would make for Endgame. It was like something like 20 million or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But what you didn't know was, like he said, he got money on the front end and he got producer points on the back end, which amassed his whole thing. So, that is what's that. But we want to know your thoughts on this with Travis Scott being able to perform again. Well, not being able to, because he was always going to, performing overseas now. And if it goes well and he comes back to the States, will you go? We want to know your thoughts in the comments below. All right?
I don't like that nigga, no way.
Blerds in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. All full episodes exclusively available on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.